Ice cream lovers, are you a chubby hubby or living the American dream? Then chances are you're also a fan of Ben & Jerry's, the brand that started as a small homemade shop in 1978, Burlington, Vermont, and which has since become synonymous with premium quality and indulgent flavors around the globe. In its 40-plus years, Ben & Jerry's has produced dozens of flavors that have graced grocery store freezers and the company's standalone scoop shops. Some have become modern classics, while others ended up in the literal flavor graveyard. Now the great pop culture debate wants to decide, what is the best Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor? New York Super Fudge Chunk is what they used to call me in high school. I'm your host, Eric Rezsnyak, and please scoop up some of my panelists. You don't have to work hard to get into his salty bitch core. It's Curtis Creekmore.
Now with 20% more bitch.
It's true. He may be lactose intolerant, but he's still a dairy queen. Welcome, Jake Pitochelli.
It's a curse, but I've been milking it for years.
And she's back with her half-baked hot takes. It's Joelle Boedecker.
I love scotch. Scotchy scotch scotch.
There you go. So before we get into the debates, how does this work? We put up an open poll with just about every Ben & Jerry's flavor we could think of. Ones available in grocery store freezers, those only at the scoop shops, and defunct ones now in the flavor graveyard. We had more than 120 people take the poll. We took the top 32 vote getters, ranked them by popularity, and assigned them to a bracket. Now we argue about it and insult each other, all for your amusement. We're also doing things a little differently in Season 3. We're starting with the Sweet 16 and arguing down to the ultimate winner. Want to hear how we winnowed things down from the top 32? Become a Patreon supporter and listen to the Patreon-exclusive warm-ups while we work through round 1. By the way, you can play along at home. Head to greatpopculturedebate.com, click on polls and brackets. There you'll find the listener bracket for this and every episode of the podcast. Make a copy for yourself, fill it in with your own picks, and see how they match up with our panels. With that said, we're going to move right on to the debates. So we are at the sweet, literally sweet 16. First up, we have 1-seed Half-Baked versus 4-seed Heath Bar Crunch. And Joelle, why don't you tell people why they should vote for Heath Bar?
Heath Bar Crunch is a classic. If you grew up in the 80s, I think Heath Bar Crunch ice cream was just a thing people bought. I don't know if anyone, if anyone's favorite, but it was something that was always around. I grew up loving Heath Bar. I know we've certainly talked in previous episodes of the show about how Heath Bar is the most unpleasant candy to eat because it gets stuck in your teeth. I love that because it's the candy that keeps on giving the next day, 2 days later. Depends
to your orthodontist. Mm-hmm.
Joelle, brush your teeth, honey.
But it is delicious. I love the crunchy chewiness. I love the little bits. I love that it gets melty in the vanilla ice cream. It's pretty great. Yeah, big fan.
I love that Joelle's argument for Heath Bar Crunches. It is a flavor that existed in the 80s, and it wasn't anybody's favorite.
I'm here up against like Half-Baked. I'm here with my Half-Baked hot take for you. It's true.
There you go. And I appreciate that you are. I love that you're out there on your own. But honestly, it would be a very boring debate without that. So I will speak on Half-Baked. It is one of my go-tos. I believe Joelle, who is our expert on this subject, by the way, folks, she came to us with all these types of factoids, and I'm living for it. She pointed out that Half-Baked was actually originally one of the Twist-It flavors. To Twist-It, is that what they were called?
Yeah, it started out as an experiment. I guess that was a thing back in like the late 90s. They were the number 2 Twisted, classic 90s thing.
Yeah.
Exclamation
So
point. Yeah, 2
exactly.
Twisted exclamation point. It's full on 90s.
And it was such a successful experiment that it is now one of their most popular flavors. Half-Baked is one of my go-tos. You've got chocolate, you've got vanilla, you've got brownie, you've got chocolate chip cookie dough. It's like all of the like major worlds of ice cream merged into one. And for me, it's a super satisfying flavor. I never regret getting it. I even like the version that's the quote unquote healthy version of Half-Baked, the like frozen yogurt version. It's still really solid. So for me, it's a go-to. Nothing against Heath Bar. As Joelle points out, it is historically a very important flavor for the company, but I don't think it's one that is as relevant now as it used to be. And I don't think it's as widely popular as Half-Baked is. So Curtis, where are you coming down here?
This is like Thanksgiving at my grandma's house and my least 2 favorite uncles are fighting. I'm going to say something that is going to make me probably a villain in this episode. I don't like chocolate ice cream.
Get out of here.
I know. Why am I even here? No, there are so many other fucking flavors that are delicious. It doesn't just have to be chocolate. However, I hate Heath bars more than I dislike chocolate ice cream. So I'm still going to vote for half-baked because it has good bits in it that I like to get stuck in my teeth, unlike Heath bar.
And as everyone knows who listens to this podcast, I love a spite vote. I'll take it all day, all night. Jake Pitochelli, where are you coming down here?
I gotta agree with you, Eric. I mean, I'm going with half-baked. I agree with you that it hits all of the major flavor notes, and it might not be good for your teeth, but, you know, my dentist is handsome, and I like going to visit him, so, I mean, the more opportunities, I mean, he can fill my cavities any day, if you know what I mean.
Bam! All
Hey,
right,
Jake.
I like it.
I will say, I also have tried the low-fat, not that really any of these are low-fat, let's be real, half-baked ice cream, which is probably, like, quarter-baked, I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I couldn't really taste that much of a difference, but yeah, I mean, again, if you're gonna go for the real thing, you got to go for the real half baked. You can't kind of.
I agree with that. And let me say that when I was saying I would go for sometimes the frozen yogurt version, I would only do that as a last resort because I couldn't find regular. I would never intentionally pick the frozen yogurt version. How dare you, sir? But that sounds like we are 3-1 for half baked. Sorry, Joelle.
No, you're 4-0. I just wanted to defend it. I'm happy too.
I will take that. Next up, we have 6-seed Oat of This World versus 2-seed The Tonight Dough, and I want to have Jake speak on oats. What do you got?
All right. So here's the inside scoop, y'all. I love anything that has a base of butter. And that's what the base of this ice cream is. It's buttery brown sugar ice cream. I mean, how bad can that be? It's not. I mean, it's bad for your arteries. Yeah, but like, it's totally worth it. So it's buttery brown sugar ice cream with fudge flakes, and where the oats come in is the oatmeal cinnamon cookie swirls. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love a good oatmeal cookie. I mean, I just love all forms of cookies, especially the Chromatica cookies, because I am a grown-ass gay man. But, I mean, oatmeal cookies are just so nostalgic and remind me of eating them at my grandmother's house and having them in ice cream form. It isn't just a flavor, it's really an experience. And I think that's what Ben & Jerry's does so well. It's not just an ice cream flavor, it's an experience. And I think whether that's to their marketing, their numerous topical dynamic flavors, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this flavor. I certainly feel my oats when I eat it, and I mean, that's probably 99% of why I'm voting for this anyways. Let's be real.
I appreciate that. And Gia Gunn, who sponsors the Oat of This World flavor, I'm kidding, she doesn't. Absolutely. Curtis, talk about the Tonight Dough.
This is a difficult one for me because anyone who knows me knows how much I hate Jimmy Fallon. I think he is a try-hard, and I hope you listen to this, sir, because I don't like you. Not really. If you're listening to this, thank you. Like, cool.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you're awesome. Like, hate us on your show. Jimmy. Like, talk all about it. Caramel and chocolate ice cream together kind of cancels out the chocolate, I guess. I may buy the pint and then take like a Sharpie and black out his face just so I don't have to look at it while I'm eating it. But it's still a pretty delicious ice cream. There are chocolate cookie swirls and chocolate chip cookie dough pieces and peanut butter cookie dough pieces all mixed into one. It's delicious. Go eat your oatmeal raisin cookie, Grandma, because I'm going to eat the Tonight Dough.
Mm-hmm. And Joelle, where are you on this one?
Oh, boy. Oat of This World, which is a ridiculous name. I actually prefer Oat of This World, but it's actually Oat of This Swirled.
Oh, geez.
The name's worse, right? With the actual
Yeah, it's
name.
worse.
Eric just has a lisp. He was saying it the whole time.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. The Tonight Dough, try hard, don't love it. It's full of deliciousness. I will eat it more than I would eat Oat of This World. I think that's where I stand there. Also, technically, it goes to a good cause. If you buy this ice cream, there's a fund of some sort that Jimmy is happy to give proceeds to. So
that's a vote for Tonight Dough for you.
It's a vote for Tonight Dough.
I'm also voting for Tonight Dough, and I have to say, like, I don't dislike Jimmy Fallon. I think he's just fine at what he does. That is not maintaining character during SNL sketches and interviewing people competently, but I think he does what he does well. And I think this is a really great flavor. It is too much. It's ridiculous. It's things on top of things on tops of things. And sometimes I just want multiple things topping me. So I'm okay with it.
Shock.
I get it.
Exactly. Moving on, chocolate chip cookie dough, the original 1 seed, is up against Coffee Toffee Bar Crunch, a 4 seed. Jake, talk to us about chocolate chip cookie dough, please.
I mean, I am a big fan of the classics. And like you said, chocolate chip cookie dough is just an OG. And I mean, it's the most popular flavor, not just in the country, but in the world. And I mean, can you really argue with the world? Can you? No.
I mean, America for the past 4 years has been arguing with the world pretty well. So,
And how did that go?
not so well.
It's just been a peaceful utopia for the last 4 years, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I feel like when I eat this flavor. It feels like I'm eating a peaceful utopia. No, it's it's absolutely. I feel like Ben & Jerry's really does the classics well, and this is just a straight up go-to that I've eaten consistently from when I was a kid up until now. I love just like, sometimes if I'm feeling really rebellious, I will eat all of the ice cream and then I'll just leave like the kind of the cookie dough and then go ham at the end of it because like I'm a maniac. And yeah, no, it's just one of my favorite flavors. It might not be an exciting flavor, but again, it's an original and they do it extremely well. The vanilla ice cream is creamy, the chocolate chips are crispy, and the cookie dough is plentiful. So
it is
there you go.
indeed plentiful. Joelle, you are our expert. Was Ben & Jerry's the first to give us a chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream?
Yeah, actually, I just learned that today. I didn't know that they claimed to be the originators. It sounds like it was an idea of a patron. They said, "Hey, throw cookie dough in one," and they did it. And I think that's consistent with Ben & Jerry's history. They'll take any flavor someone offers them and run with it.
Exactly. But you actually are here to defend Coffee Toffee Bar Crunch. So what do you got for me?
Yeah, I have to defend it because it is one of my go-tos, and that's not a normal thing for most people, I realize, because it's a pretty intense choice with the toffee, of course, with the the cavities, and the coffee ice cream. That's some people hate coffee ice cream. I don't understand them, but they exist. And those two combined are just delicious. I love coffee toffee ice cream. There's absolutely no question that cookie dough is a staple. It is important to America, but I'm
the
here
global
to defend
community.
The global community, the world.
Exactly.
But I'm here to defend Coffee Toffee Crunch because it's...
You are. Curtis, where are you on this one?
I actually don't like coffee ice cream, so I guess I'm one of those people. But Joelle likes things in her teeth, and I don't. Chocolate chip cookie dough is... not even talking about an ice cream, just eating chocolate chip cookie dough is a pastime for me. So then you put it in an ice cream and it's even better. And the thing that I appreciate most about Ben & Jerry's more than any other brand, and if you can tell me another brand that puts more stuff in their ice cream, when it's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, you actually if you took all of the different bits, which apparently Jake does because he's a serial killer and he leaves them all to the end. So you could tell us just how many of those chunks of chocolate chip cookie dough are in there, but it's a
32.
lot. 32.
Oh,
the answer to the universe or whatever.
Exactly right.
No, this is not even a contest. I snub it.
All right, I'm going with chocolate chip cookie dough as well, Joelle.
Yeah.
I love that you spoke for Coffee Toffee, and I like to have some diversity within our flavors on here because I don't want it to be totally obvious. But I can't say no to chocolate chip cookie dough, and I think as we go on in future rounds, I'll make more of a case for why that is. But for now, that's 3-1. It's advancing. Next up, we have Peanut Butter Cup versus Cherry Garcia, and I'm going to have Curtis go first for the PB team.
When I was a young child,
and
I got sick, my mom would feed me or give me, I guess, this cherry flavored cough syrup that made me vomit everywhere. I don't know what it was. It may have been Dimetapp. It may have been Robitussin. I don't know. To this day, taking cough syrup that is cherry flavored makes me literally shudder. I can't do it. When I eat Cherry Garcia, or really anything with cherries or cherry flavoring in it, I have this very vivid, nostalgic shudder that runs through my body. What am I fighting for? Peanut butter. So I actually really do like the peanut butter cup ice cream. I love the peanut butter cups. I love that they are full ass cups. You think of most other ice creams, they cut that shit into quarters. Like you're barely getting little bits, but Ben & Jerry's leaves the whole ass cup in there. And that's what I want. I want to dig it out. I want to excavate it for anybody who listened to the warm up. We're bringing that word forward. I want to excavate some damn full ass peanut butter cups into my mouth. It's peanut butter cup.
And I think I may have misspoke in the warm up. I think I said that it had a vanilla base, but I actually think peanut butter cup has a peanut ice cream base.
It does. And I actually mentioned, I think the peanut butter base is too hard. I think, and you had said that it's because they actually put peanut butter in the base. I think that it freezes a bit too hard, but I still think that it's better than Cherry Garcia. Cherry Garcia just tastes so fake to me.
Oh, okay. So I love both of these flavors. These are two of my go-tos. I get these with a regular frequency. You can ask my partner who's like, why do we have 3 things of Ben & Jerry's in the freezer? Because they all different flavors. But if I had to pick one of them, I would go with Cherry Garcia. Number one, peanut butter cup you can get pretty much any place. I will say that the Ben & Jerry's version is better than most of the other ones. Cherry Garcia, there are some other cherry flavored ice creams, but I think Cherry Garcia, the cherry ice cream with the cherries, with the dark chocolate chunks, that is not something that I'm finding. And if I am finding it someplace else, it's nowhere near as good as this. I, like Joelle, love the taste of Dimetapp and Robitussin. Call me a weirdo, but I love that medicine-y taste. I had no issue. I would be like, give me some more of that, another hit of that Robitussin.
Yeah. Oh, Eric. Yeah.
But I don't think the Cherry Garcia tastes like that. To me, Cherry Garcia, it doesn't taste like actual cherries, but it tastes sweet and it tastes light. And I love it. I think it's absolutely, it's not unique because there are other flavors like it, but I think it is a welcome change of pace in an ice cream world. And if I'm looking for something different from chocolate or vanilla, I'm going to go with Cherry Garcia, even though it has dark chocolate in it, but it's a completely different flavor profile for me. One thing I will say, I have the Ben & Jerry's ice cream cookbook. I have an ice cream maker. I've made both of their recipes for these. And I will say that if you make the Cherry Garcia at home, be very careful of the cherries that you use, because I thought I bought the correct cherries, fresh cherries, and apparently I got sour cherries instead of Bing cherries.
God.
And when they froze, they became so potent that it literally killed my taste buds for days. That's how it was so bad.
Wow.
The ice cream itself was delicious, but the chunks of cherry in it were like bombs of flavor killing disasters. And my poor friend Kelly, for listening to this, Kelly, I'm so sorry. She's just like, what are you doing to me? What's happening to my mouth right now? So that's a fun fact about Cherry Garcia. Joelle, were you coming down on this?
So this is the last fruit ice cream in the mix. And so I do need to share the anecdote I was going to share earlier and forgot. I hate all Ben & Jerry's fruit ice cream. And this actually started back in 2007, 2006, something like that. There was an ice cream called American Pie ice cream. And doesn't that sound great? They released it in early July, maybe July 4th. What are you going to do? And my roommate and I, we bought it. We were so excited to have that with our, cookout. It was so bad that we left it in the freezer and made every guest that visit us try it as well, because we thought it was a fun joke to play on people.
It was apple pie. I'm guessing it was apple pie flavored.
Apple pie. It had chunks of apple, like the sort of apple you put in apple pie with chunks of pie crust. What it comes down to is I don't like it when they deconstruct perfectly good desserts into these ice creams. So like they have other pie ones. Like, why put a piece of pie crust in? It's okay if it's a swirl, like s'mores with the swirl. That's great. Like, melt it away, put it into a swirl, break it up, mush it in. But when it's chunks of fruit, I don't understand it, and I truly hate it, and never try the apple ice cream ever. Don't do it.
I will say, I've tried other versions of their apple ice cream, and you are absolutely correct. It's not good. They never get it to work, and I love apple pie. They just never get it successful. I also think it tends to be way too sweet.
There were 5 attempts at apple pie, apple streusel ice cream, and they all failed.
Yeah. So does that mean you're voting for peanut butter
Yes.
cup?
Sorry. The moral of the story is no fruit for me. Peanut butter cup it is. Yes.
Got it. Jake, where are you?
See, I'm the opposite. I am not a huge peanut butter guy. I don't know. I mean, I like Reese's, but just overall, anything with a peanut butter base isn't really going to do it for me. I get what you're saying about, sometimes when fruit is transformed from the actual, piece into ice cream form, that sometimes it doesn't always work out. But I think Cherry Garcia, Ben & Jerry's is a really great job of incorporating the cherry. Then actually they use real cherries and not just some maraschino crap.
Yep.
And then the mix, the taste that it has with the dark chocolate off of it, I just think is a really nice flavor balance together. And it's one of the most popular flavors in the country. It's certainly always available when I go to the supermarket or wherever you get your ice cream from. It's always available. So it's definitely one of my go-tos, and that's why I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, so that means we are 2-2, and the way ties work on the Great Pop Culture Debate as of season 3 is the higher seed advances, and in this case, that's Cherry Garcia, which is a 2 seed, over Peanut Butter Cup, a 3 seed. So thank you, Jake. I will pay you later. Next up,
my Venmo name is no.
Exactly, and you can find him on OnlyFans. Chubby Hubby, a 1 seed, is now up against Salted Caramel Core, a 4 seed, and I'm going to have Joelle talk on Chubby Hubby, Curtis on Salted Caramel Core. I'm going to have Curtis actually go first on this one.
This one's pretty tough. So we get Chubby Hubby pretty regularly in my household because it's my husband's favorite, which is funny. He loves the pretzel bits. I don't. If I wanted to hit a dry spot in the ice cream then I don't honestly fucking know what I would do. But the Salted Caramel Core I think it's the only one that really hits the salted right. Like, the pretzel pieces are supposed to be kind of salty, but you don't really get them. You do in the caramel core. It's a truly salted caramel core, and it balances out the sweetness really nicely, in my opinion. Caramel can be it can overtake everything, but I think that really does a good job of balancing it out. I'm okay with Chubby Hubby. I think it's an okay ice cream. It's not one of my favorites, but if you put 2 pints in front of me and said pick one of these, I would definitely go for the caramel core.
Joelle, Chubby Hubby.
This is one of my new favorites. I mentioned in the first episode that I just discovered it this year. It is unexpected. I've never had pretzels in my ice cream before, which maybe that just makes me special because maybe you've had it before. But I think it's cool. There's little pretzel balls. What I really love about it is more of the story as well, and not that takes away from the flavor. But it was actually created because a couple of coworkers were tricking another coworker, and they were like, "Have you heard of the Chubby Hubby Ben & Jerry's flavor?" And he was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, you're missing out. It's the best." I don't know the story. I'm putting dialogue in, but the point is they tricked him. Then they went home and invented it. And then apparently the story got back to Ben & Jerry's, and Ben & Jerry's was like, "Sure, let's make this. This sounds great." And that's how Chubby Hubby was born. And that was a really long time ago. So I'm actually shocked that I've never heard about it. It's like 20 years old or whatever. 26 years old, actually. The other thing is after gay marriage was legalized, they renamed it to Hubby Hubby for a brief period of time, which is adorable.
Aww.
And then apparently the people that invented the flavor actually got a day named after them in York, Pennsylvania, called Chubby Hubby Day. So there's just a lot of really lovely hug-worthy stories behind it. It's a great name. It's a stupid name. It's delicious. I already mentioned the pretzel chunks, which is great. Vanilla malt ice cream is interesting. They don't have too many of those. I just like it.
For a reason.
Right?
Shut your face.
Thank you.
Jake, where are you coming down on this one?
I really like both flavors. I mean, I love a good core. I've said it before, I'm a core whore, but Chubby Hubby, I gotta go with it. I mean, I love a good pretzel bit. I love the sweet and salty dynamic that's going on. My husband loves it as well. And it's definitely, again, another flavor that's always available. And I didn't know the tidbit about them changing it to Hubby Hubby after gay marriage got legalized. I mean, who knew it would take ice cream to take the gay community together? I mean,
I did.
Well, this isn't necessarily bottom friendly food. I mean, unless you get the dairy free kind, but that's a whole nother podcast.
It's a whole other podcast. It's not, but we know we suffer for our favorites. So regardless of my vote here, Chubby Hubby is going to advance because right now it's 2 for Chubby Hubby and it's a 1 seed. So that means it would go forward. I don't care for Chubby Hubby. I said in the preview that, the warm up, that for me it is too much. And I know I just voted for Tonight Dough and I said, I'll always want more. But with Chubby Hubby, it's, as I said, it's the Campbell's chunky soup of ice creams. It's just too heavy. It's too substantial. And it's too much for me as an ice cream, as a dessert. But I also don't really have strong feelings for salted caramel core, which is, by the way, the last of the cores to be currently in our bracket. And I think it's going to be, the final one, because we're going to move Chubby Hubby ahead. I'll go ahead and I'll vote for Chubby Hubby also because I like the stories and I like the social significance of it. So next up, we have Mint Chocolate Chunk, a 6 seed, up against Americone Dream, a 2 seed. And I'm going to have Jake talk about Mint Chocolate Chunk and Curtis on Dream. Jake, you go first.
Okay. And I know just the mint flavor in general kind of get some slack because people associate it with like just the elderly. I disagree and I love it. And I'm also the youngest person on the podcast. No tea, no shade. No, but I just love mint. I love chocolate. The two flavors together is just, it's a classic. Mint. I get it a lot when I go to Ben and Jerry's locations, pre-COVID, when I would go to my local Ben and Jerry's, in Providence or in Boston. I usually get, mint chocolate chip with a waffle cone. And yeah, just live my best mint chocolate fantasy. And it's a classic. It's been a flavor that's been around for a while, and I just think it's one of their most popular flavors, and I'm definitely a fan. So that's where I'm going with.
Speaking of cones, Curtis, Americone Dream.
Is that a read? I'm not.
No,
totally...
he said he would get a cone of mint chocolate chunk. So.
Oh, okay. I thought you were calling me. I don't know. Anyway,
yes,
Americone Dream is a really delicious ice cream with, like, I think what truly makes it is the caramel swirl. Because you start out with a base of vanilla, which can be boring, honestly. Like, if you don't have much else in it, it can be a pretty boring flavor. But you put the caramel swirl in there, and then you toss in fudge-covered waffle chunks, not just the waffle pieces. The fudge really brings a depth of flavor to it that I think truly makes it delicious. This is something that I go back to every time, if it's there. If you have not been on the Ben & Jerry's website, and I'm realizing now that this feels like it's been sponsored by Ben & Jerry's, it absolutely has not. But if you would like to sponsor us, Ben & Jerry's, please reach out.
I will take your money.
Right?
Yeah. You would be amazed what I would do for $50.
We could have our own ice cream made, and it would be a pile of shit.
It would.
So if you go on the Ben & Jerry's,
exactly.
If you go on the Ben & Jerry's website and you type one of them in, it actually gives you recommended flavors. And funny enough, like, all of the flavors that I really like to get into, like triple caramel chunk is my favorite. Salted caramel almond is up there. And the vanilla caramel fudge. All of those are like the recommended flavors to go along with this. Just like, if you like this thing, you're going to like that. It's delicious. It's so good. And I would much rather eat this than lick my grandma's purse.
I do not understand where this association for the elderly and mint comes from. Mint is bright. Mint is, I think, delicious. It is a different flavor than just regular old chocolate or fruit. I think there's nothing about mint that is aging, with the exception of like those after dinner mints that people have not bought or used since the 1960s.
Yeah, to the contrary. I mean, I think, like, if we're going to talk about caramel, let's go there. I mean, I feel like that is a flavor that can be associated with the elderly, for lack of, if we're going to use that term. I feel like,
Werther's originals.
Werther's
originals.
There you go. And they're always like stale, and you can never open the wrapper. And then when you finally do, a part of the wrapper is still attached to the candy, and you're like, "Will I? Should I?" And then you end up eating it. And then you
speak on it.
And then you find like part of like the caramel like candy stuck in like your coat pocket. Like, 2 months later after you washed it, like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but clearly you can tell from my experience that just from the trauma alone, I'm not a big caramel fan.
Brock's Nightmares, brought to you by Jake Pitochelli.
Honestly.
Good Lord, Brock's.
I think that mint chocolate chip is my favorite kind of ice cream, regardless of who creates it. It is my go-to flavor. It is, to me, there's nothing better. A good mint chocolate chip, the white mint chocolate chip, not the green. I don't need the bullshit food coloring. And I think that Ben & Jerry's takes it and elevates it with the chunks and the dark chocolate chunks. The whole thing is just delicious. My issue with this ice cream is I can almost never find it in the stores, like almost never. And I think that is because it's so popular. It's just one of the flavors that it's very rare that I encounter it in the wild unless I'm at a scoop shop. So for me, it's no question, because I also don't like Americone Dream. It is very popular. And the Stephen Colbert element to it, I'm sure, is not hurting things. Everybody loves Stephen Colbert. I love Stephen Colbert. It just, to me, I don't like the chunks of waffle covered in fudge. I don't think the consistency is right. They don't really add a lot to me in terms of the flavor. And I find that the ribbon of caramel is actually too sweet for me. I've gotten to the point in my elderliness, and I guess I'm hurting my own argument saying that mint is not an old person's flavor, where things are now starting to get too sweet. And I'm just like, I don't care for that. Give me a beat. So that's where I stand.
Eric's
Joelle, where
got
are you?
Sugars.
Exactly.
I want nothing to do with beet ice cream. Thank you very much.
I think it could be delicious. Borscht Belt coming to you from Ben & Jerry's.
Borscht Belt ice cream. That's actually amazing. I would not eat it, but I would buy it anyway.
I try it.
What I will say about Americone Dream is that it's basically one of my favorites, vanilla caramel fudge, but with those chewy cone pieces. So it's really, do I like the chewy cone pieces or not? The answer is not particularly, but I still like this ice cream better than mint chocolate chunk. So I'm voting for Americone Dream. It's just one by default, I guess.
I see where this is going, and I'm okay with it, but I do want to point out, she said it herself, the chewy cone pieces.
Yeah.
Cones are not supposed to be chewy. They're supposed to be crisp. And they're not.
But they're blended into ice cream, and they've been softened for many months inside of an ice cream.
And that's the problem.
I don't prefer
work.
it. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's the same reason I don't like the pie pieces, like the pie crust pieces and the pie ones. They're not pie crust anymore. They're mushy pie things.
I don't disagree with that. What were you saying, Curtis?
I disagree with you that waffle cones are meant to be a bit chewy. They are chewy. They're not the same thing as that, like, I don't even know what you would call a sugar cone. The sugar cone is like, it's wafer. It's like you bite into it and you're biting into styrofoam. I don't like that. I like the waffle cone. I like the chewiness. So maybe that's where we're departing. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because Americone Dream is a 2-seed.
It's exactly right. So, Jake, were you going with mint chocolate chunk?
I am, and I just to speak on that point. I mean, I am all about the waffle cone, and I think I get what Curtis is saying. It is supposed to be meant to be a little malleable, because a lot of the times they are making it right there in front of you, and so it's still warm when you get it, and that's part of why I like it, because they're hand making it in front of you. Whereas the wafer cone, I feel like. Have you ever guys gotten, when you go up for communion, if you guys have ever gone to church and you have the body of Christ and you get that little wafer cracker, that's what it tastes like, but in cone form.
Ew.
Now I want to see communion wafer ice cream cones. How is that not a thing that is happening?
Borscht Belt ice cream. This sounds amazing. I like this new religious version of Ben & Jerry's.
With a blood of Christ swirl.
Exactly. You get a little grape Kool-Aid and we've done it. Come at me, Manischewitz. Let's make this happen.
I didn't know what a Catholic was until I went to college, so I definitely have not tasted a wafer communion.
You're not missing much.
Communion wafer.
So we are split on that, but it does mean that it is 2 for Americone Dream, which is a 2-seed, and it will advance. Next up, it's Fish Food, a 1-seed, versus Mint Chocolate Cookie, a 4-seed. And I am actually talking for Fish Food here, which is weird because I just spent the whole time talking about how much I love mint ice cream. Joelle's talking about the cookie. So Joelle, you go first.
Which is also weird because Fish Food is my favorite ever. I don't know how this happened.
How did this happen? I don't understand.
I wasn't paying attention about what it was up
around.
against.
Yeah,
because I do love the mint chocolate cookie ice cream. We talked about that in the first episode. That it was new to me not too long ago, and it's delicious. And I didn't like mint ice cream before, and now I do. It's great. It's a great mint ice cream with cookies. It's basically cookies and cream, but with an added little peppermint shock. That said, my vote is actually for Fish Food. So if anyone wants to do any more, please jump in.
Is anyone voting for mint chocolate cookie over Fish Food here?
I am, because I actively dislike Fish Food.
Okay. Well, go on. Go off.
But
Go off, Curtis.
I honestly don't have much more to say because I don't care for mint either. But I dislike mint ice cream less than I dislike chocolate ice cream. God,
I
I'm
love
really
that Curtis
fun to
likes
have
exactly one flavor. That's in this entire podcast.
He likes caramel and vanilla. That's what I've learned about Curtis.
That is
I like
true.
unflavored ice milk. Thank you very much.
That is not at all true. You all axed my strawberry cheesecake early on. But yes,
did.
I love caramel. Chocolate ice cream is just, God, I don't know what it is. I don't like things flavored. I love chocolate. I will eat a banana. I might even eat a cherry. But like when things are flavored to be other things, like chocolate cake or chocolate ice cream or banana ice cream, I'm out. I am not interested in it.
Chocolate's not flavor. It's actual chocolate.
Right.
It's cocoa powder and sugar.
It's like blended in.
Well, listen,
Like,
girl, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like it, so I'm voting
I
for the
didn't go
mint
to
one.
school for math.
What is this science you're bringing?
As someone who's made the actual Ben & Jerry's recipe for the chocolate base, I can tell you it's literally like cocoa powder that is made into like a cocoa sauce, and then you whip it into the sweet cream base. So it's not like they're putting fake, like it is good
It's not
dark
Hershey's,
chocolate.
It's
Right.
not corn syrup with Hershey in it. Yeah.
Right. Or you melt the actual like chunks of like old school like baker's chocolate over a double boiler, and then you like mix the cream in. You can do it a couple different ways. They have a couple different recipes. So Curtis's mint chocolate cookie, are you sticking with fish food, Jake?
I am. I love fish food. I mean, it's just such a. I've eaten it consistently throughout my Ben and Jerry's journey, and it's just. I love the flavor of marshmallow. It's kind of like reminds me of eating a s'more almost, which I love. And yeah, I'm sticking with it. And yes, again, I do get the reference to fish. The band, not the food.
The band.
The band, not the food. Exactly. So that means it's 3-1 for fish food, and we're going to move that one along. Finally, in round 2, it's chocolate therapy, a 6 seed, versus gimme s'more, a 7 seed. And I'm going to talk about chocolate therapy. Curtis, you're going to talk about gimme s'more. Do you actually like that flavor?
It's all right. I like it better than chocolate therapy. What a Cinderella story, though, to have a 6 and a 7 seed going up against
It's
each other.
true.
So I love a s'more. I do enjoy a s'more. It's chocolate. It's not a chocolate flavored. It's not something that's made with something else. And I love the graham cracker swirl that's in the gimme s'more. To be honest, it is a little bit cloying to me with the marshmallow. I think it's a marshmallow base. Is that right?
It's a marshmallow ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too sweet for me, but I don't like chocolate ice cream. There's something about it that I just don't care for. So I'm going to vote against it in basically every matchup.
So it's going to be a really fun Final Four, folks. Just buckle up for that. I'm going to say this. I love a s'more. S'mores are one of my favorite desserts, especially in the summertime. If I go camping and I don't have a s'more, something has gone completely wrong. I have made better s'more ice creams than the gimme s'more that Ben & Jerry's makes. And Curtis makes the point that it's too sweet. I agree. I have made a sweet cream base. I've toasted up marshmallows and actually put them in, kind of like made them a little bit gooey. So it's like a kind of a swirl in there, put in different types of chocolates. So it's got different notes. And then you crush up the graham crackers, like done. And it's so good and frankly better than what Ben & Jerry's has in those pints. I think they can refine it. And this is not the first version of s'more ice cream they've done. I think they need to refine it further. To me, chocolate therapy is where it's at. It is not just chocolate. It's chocolate plus chunks of chocolate cookie plus a chocolate pudding ice cream. It is like amazing on top of amazing on top of amazing. And it is an explosion in my mouth. I'm always for things exploding in my mouth. So for me, that's where I'm going. I need to know where Joelle and Jake are here. I'm going to start with Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, Eric, I get it. I'm always for things exploding in my mouth, but when I want things exploding in my mouth, I want them to be white and creamy, and that's why I got to go with the gimme s'more.
and let's introduce his husband, Michael. Joelle, so where are you?
Oh boy! I think you made a good point about the s'more ice cream. S'more ice cream not being the best version of what they can do, because I love that marshmallow swirl in the fish food, and they don't have that in this ice cream. cream, and that's a real miss, I think. There should have been a marshmallow swirl in this.
Yes.
And all that said, I literally in my notes under chocolate therapy, I wrote triple chocolate amazingness. That's all. Done.
It's right there.
I also just feel like the ode to Britney Spears, like, give me more, give me s'more. I just feel like in this time, it's very topical and relevant. So, hashtag free Britney. Let's incorporate that into this podcast. And so I think
hashtag justice for Blackout. Absolutely.
If anything, I wish Gimme S'more, like when you bought it, the money went to her legal fund. Like I would buy more of it.
Let's end
I would be more pro. Yeah.
There you go. So we're currently split. And again, Ty, chocolate therapy is a 6 seed over Gimme S'more, which is a 7 seed. So it will continue on. I'm sorry, Curtis.
Wow.
So here's the thing. If you made it a vanilla base or pretty much any other base, I would absolutely eat it because a chocolate pudding ice cream plus chocolate chunks sound delicious, but the chocolate ice cream on top of it is just too much.
Oh, it's just too much.
Leave Britney alone.
Well, that is it for round 2, folks. Before we dig into our Elite 8, we need to pop a lactate. So we will be right back after this short break. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Eric.
So I heard, and this may be true, that you were actually the Great Pop Culture Debate's very first Patreon subscriber.
Was I?
You were. You're not only a panelist, you're also a founder.
Also a founder. I mean, it does give me a feeling of joy to contribute towards high quality podcasts like the Great Pop Culture Debate so that, I get swag.
Yeah. What kind of swag do you get?
You get a button. That's the one I signed up for. Is there a tote? I feel like there should be a tote.
There's not a tote yet, but that's a great idea. I have some other ideas that I'm working on.
You get access to things early. You get access to Patreon only little mini-sodes. You get to hear the warm-ups before, when everyone's just kind of getting their little sea legs before they get into the main attraction. And you get season 0.
You get season 0. It's exactly right. You will never hear the otherwise, folks. And there's some great episodes in that, which include best Madonna single, best RuPaul's Drag Race lip sync, best 90s cartoon. And the only way you can hear those is by getting a Patreon sponsorship for as low as $2 a month. Then you even get season 0 just for that. So thank you very much, Kate. We appreciate all of our Patreon sponsors. And if you do have the interest, please go to patreon.com/Great Pop Culture Debate and support us. Welcome back to the Great Pop Culture Debate episode devoted to the best Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor. Do you want that in a cup or cone? We're moving right into round 3, the Elite 8, and we're going to go around the horn with votes on this. First up, it's Half Baked versus the Tonight Dough, and I want to start with Jake. Which one are you going with?
I got to go with Half Baked.
Why?
I am going with Half Baked. I just think, well, first of all, just because I'm not a big Jimmy Fallon fan, that's not the only reason. I just think that this is okay, maybe it is a big reason, but anyways, I liked Half Baked just because it is a combination of, several different flavors, and I think that it is just, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Tonight Dough, I have to be honest.
Interesting. Okay. Joelle, where are you here?
I have to go with Half Baked too. I'm looking at the difference between them. I have that in the ridiculous spreadsheet I set up here, and literally the Tonight Dough description is 2 lines. It's basically half baked plus another whole complicated ice cream. It's just too much. It's half baked.
All right, Curtis.
It pains me to support Jimmy Fallon, but I'm going to go for the Tonight Dough because it's not a chocolate-based ice cream. And it really is delicious.
It is.
They're basically the same thing, just one has more caramel and peanut butter in it.
Yes, it has. Well, to me, the caramel kind of takes over. I don't really taste the chocolate ice cream as much when I'm eating the Tonight Dough as I do with Half Baked.
That
so it
sounds
hides
willful.
the sins. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and can I also just a quick harken back to the fast food episode? One thing that I really appreciate about Ben & Jerry's scoop shops is that they don't sing at you when you tip them.
Yes.
This is not the Cold Stone episode, that's for sure.
It is not, and there will not be one.
No, there will not.
I'm not here for it.
So I currently have 2 for Tonight Dough. Is that correct?
No. Just
1?
me. The cheese stands alone.
The cheese stands alone. So right now in my freezer, there are 2 pints of the Tonight Dough. I was not intending for that to be the case. We'll explain what happened there. But so my thought was it was going to be one of the final two. But when we're having this discussion, I think if we're talking about what is the most popular flavor, which one do I eat more? It's half-baked. I eat half-baked constantly. This is why I'm fat, and I'm not mad about it. So it is a simplified version of the Tonight Dough, but because of that, I actually think it's a superior version in that it gives you your brownies and your chocolate chip cookie dough and your vanilla and your chocolate, and you get to enjoy all those little bits as opposed to the Tonight Dough, which is basically sugar flavor bukkake. So I think
Now
I'm going to go with.
context.
And now I'm glad I have two things of it in my freezer. But happy Valentine's Day. I think that means it's half baked for the win. Moving on into the final four. Next up, it is chocolate chip cookie dough versus cherry Garcia. Oh, this is really hard. I'm not going to go with Curtis first because I know exactly where he's going. Joelle, where are you on this?
There's literally no question. It's chocolate chip cookie dough.
Thank you.
Yeah. I see where this is going. Okay, Jake.
I gotta go with Cherry Garcia. I love it so much. I don't know. And it's even better if you warm it up just to maybe in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds and it just gets this really nice creamy texture with, and I know y'all don't like your fruit and ice cream, but I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's just chocolate chip cookie dough is fine, but I don't know. Cherry Garcia is just such a better, it's just such a more dynamic, interesting flavor. And it's, yeah. So I gotta go with
Microwaving Ben and Jerry's?
He is the oldest 25-year-old I've ever met. This
the only
ice
person
cream is too hard for my teeth. I gotta warm it up.
Oh,
The people that ever microwave ice cream were my grandparents. I can tell you that right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm laughing too much. My veneers are slipping. Oh, God.
That's fascinating. I will say, I hear where you're coming from on that because when we were kids, we used to make ice cream soup where you would put the ice cream in the bowl and you would just stir it until friction liquefied it.
Yep.
But
And then you drink it up.
It's
Absolutely.
for 5 seconds. It's not like it becomes like this like boiling puddle of like Cherry Garcia, like, Campbell's soups, like
Jake,
hot mess.
I know you don't have thick thighs like I do, but if you just nestle it right in between for a couple minutes while you're watching your stories, it gets warm enough.
And that's because Curtis is already dead inside, so he doesn't have to worry about getting frostbite on his nether regions.
No, nobody touching
Oh my
him.
God. Eric, do you know what the Cherry Garcia said to the chocolate chip cookie dough?
What?
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
I like that the youngest person on this podcast is giving me a run for my dad jokes. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. So here's the thing. I have been a staunch supporter of Cherry Garcia this entire run. I love it. It's one of my go-to flavors. I think it's interesting. I think it's different from most of the other ones here. It is also hugely popular.
Yes.
But if we're talking about that versus chocolate chip cookie dough, which I think like chocolate chip cookie dough did not exist as an ice cream or even an ice cream topping prior to Ben & Jerry's. Like literally it was not a thing until this company introduced it into the American like flavor marketplace. And now it's everywhere. Like every place has their version of chocolate chip cookie dough, but none of them even touch Ben & Jerry's. They're not even close to it. And so for that reason, I have to give it to chocolate chip cookie dough, even though it is more basic and boring. I think you could call it a foundational flavor for this company. And we wouldn't have half baked and you wouldn't have any of the other like baked without
Tonight
it or Tonight Dough. Yeah. So for that reason, I'm going to guess, Curtis, you're going with chocolate chip cookie dough.
That is correct. But can I do just a little bit more shilling for you all for the Ben and Jerry's?
Or you could wait until final four when that's going to still be in there.
No. Cherry Garcia is going out, right?
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you who like Cherry Garcia, if you have not picked up Sweet Like Sugar Cookie Dough Core, has anybody on this podcast had that yet?
I read about it and went, ew.
No, it's actually
no, it's really good.
It's actually good. So if you are a follower of the Great British Bake Off, Mary Berry loves to do, what's it called? It just went right out of my head.
The Bakewell Tart?
Bakewell Tart. And this tastes just like a Bakewell Tart. It's sweet cream ice cream with almond flavoring, shortbread cookies, and cherry, with cherries and sugar cookie dough in the middle. It's really good. It tastes just like a Bakewell Tart because My husband, who is a big baker, made one of those, and they taste just the same. I actually enjoy sweet like sugar. I do not like cherry Garcia. So if you like are anywhere in between, give that one a shot because it's actually worthwhile.
And I have never found that in the wild. So if someone does, please send it to me and I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a pint of Ben & Jerry's today. So thank you. That's actually really good to know. Thank you, Curtis. Next up, it is Chubby Hubby versus Americone Dream. 2 flavors I don't like. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to go to Jake first. What do you got?
I love Stephen Colbert, but I gotta go with Chubby Hubby. It is just, I don't know, it is one of the flavors that I eat consistently. It's available everywhere, so that also adds to why I think I love it. It's just a very accessible flavor for a lot of people. And yeah, I mean, I like American Dream, and I like, the caramel that's in it. But again, I'm more of a mint person, not a caramel person. So it's, I got to go with Chubby Hubby.
All right, Joelle, where are you?
Definitely Chubby Hubby. I think we've already talked about the waffle cone debate earlier. I'm not here for it. And if I have the choice between a waffle cone and a pretzel any day of the week outside of ice cream, I'll go with a pretzel. So yeah, Chubby Hubby.
Curtis.
I guess I'm gonna stand alone with my Americone Dream. I just don't love the malted base of Chubby Hubby. And again, like I enjoy pretzels. I like the idea of pretzels in my ice cream, but there's something, they almost lean a little bit too close to like the malted, like a Whopper. You put the Whopper in.
So good.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So whatever.
Everyone that rejects their Whoppers, send them to me.
Oh my God, you can have those and banana runts.
No.
Tootsie Pops.
I will take the Tootsie Pops. Eric already knows about my Tootsie Pop. I can't even finish that sentence.
You can send me all those terrible little candies that look like strawberries. Everybody hated those, but those were my jam.
I love them too. Poor Kids Unite.
Oh my God. Is that what
that was a serving of fruit in my house?
Part of a balanced meal.
Americone Dream. I'm going down in flames, just like usual.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I don't care for either one of these flavors. They don't do anything for me. If I had to pick between the two of them, though, I would probably go with Chubby Hubby because that ribbon of caramel is too sweet for me in Americone Dream, and I just find the whole thing is built around those cone pieces, and to me, they're not successful. So it's a gimmick for someone that people love. I believe it does have some great, I believe proceeds from it do support some good causes, which is wonderful, but it is not one that I can get behind. So I'm throwing my vote to Chubby Hubby. And finally, we have fish food versus chocolate therapy. I want to start with Curtis. Pick
Pass.
Chocolate or chocolate.
Pass.
They have to pick one. I had to pick one from 2 flavors I don't like. So
I I really have no idea.
Here's an argument I will make for you.
How about I go last?
Okay, fine. Joelle, you go first.
Oh shit. I think it's fish food. I think at the end of the day, the nostalgic factor brings me to fish food. I have like fond memories. So, but full context, I never had Ben & Jerry's before college. Also never in my house for different reasons, but never in my house. So in college, when I discovered I could just walk downstairs and buy 2 pints and walk back upstairs, there was a lot of Ben & Jerry's in my life from that point forward. And fish food was always available because it was college, and I guess they thought we were all stoners. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Know your marketplace.
So that's the nostalgic factor. It was one of my first Ben & Jerry's flavors. And chocolate therapy is wonderful and amazing, and I hope it never goes away. But fish food, it's one of the tent poles. It's right up there with cookie dough and cherry Garcia for Ben & Jerry's.
Yep. Jake.
Yeah, no, I agree with Joelle. This is definitely one of their flagship flavors. That's a mouthful. Say that 5 times fast. Food fish is one of their flagship never mind.
Food fish.
Fish. I can't even say it out. Anyways, land the plane. Chocolate therapy, and I am a proponent of therapy in all shapes, forms, and flavors. But yeah, no, fish food is, I think, one of Ben & Jerry's most important flavors. I love the marshmallow in it. Yeah, and so I got to go with it.
I'm going with fish food too. So Curtis, your vote ultimately is irrelevant here.
See,
I am curious to hear it.
You wanted to embarrass me in front of everyone listening.
I didn't want to embarrass you. I wanted to put your feet to the fire. That's different. But thank you, ShadeButton.com. Fish food, I think, takes everything that's great about chocolate therapy, which is chocolate on chocolate and chocolate, and it makes it even better with the marshmallow and the actual chocolatey, fudgy fishes, which are delicious. They're not like, again, it's not that shitty fake chocolate stuff that you'll find in a lot of ice creams. They're really satisfying.
Yeah.
And that means...
And it has that caramel, by the way, that Curtis does like. So
it does balance things. Yeah, and the caramel though feels balanced in fish food in a way it doesn't to me in Americone Dream, which gives us a final four of half baked versus chocolate chip cookie dough, chubby hubby versus fish food. This is the first time I think this has ever happened on this podcast. All four number one seeds made it to the final four. All four of them.
And what a journey. Wow.
What a journey it was to get here. So let's start right off. Half baked versus chocolate chip cookie dough. I want to start with Curtis. You can weigh in on this one, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So one other thing that I will point out for those of you who can't see the bracket, all number one seeds made it to the final four. 3 of the 2 seeds made it to the Elite 8. The only 2 seed that did not make it all the way to almost the end was Chunky Monkey, and it deserved to die. So this one I absolutely can speak to. It's chocolate chip cookie dough. It is not only a tentpole, but it's one of their most delicious flavors. It's simple enough to not be an assault on your mouth, but it's delicious enough to deserve to be.
All right. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta go with chocolate chip cookie dough. Again, it's the most popular Ben & Jerry's flavor in the world, and I'll make the same argument I said before. I don't think you can argue with the world, right? It's not good. Not good juju.
Not good juju, not good diplomacy. What about you, Joelle?
I'm bad at making decisions when it comes to chocolate. And as much as I love cookie dough, and if you ever get a Ben & Jerry's ice cream, you have to pick 2 flavors, and you always put like simpler ones in so you don't freak out your family. So it's always cookie dough and like one other less exciting thing. I love half baked though, because I don't have to make that choice when I have a half baked. It's everything I like in one. So I'm picking that.
That's where I would come down to be honest with you, is like I am all for the simplicity and the importance of chocolate chip cookie dough to Ben & Jerry's. But I think this is a case where they took something that was already great and iconic and they actually made it better by introducing 2 other great and iconic things, which is chocolate and brownies. But that said, I will not have a tie going into the final 2. And they're both 1 seeds, so I can't go by the seed thing. With that being said, I see totally the argument for why chocolate chip cookie dough should advance, and I think I'm going to switch my vote to that one.
That's fair.
But I agree with you, Joelle. If it does exactly what you half baked does exactly what you want it to do. It is all those things and more, but I understand the importance of chocolate chip cookie dough. So finally, it's chubby hubby versus fish food, and I want to start with Jake. Where are you coming down on this one?
I don't know. I mean, I like both so much, but I mean, my gut quite literally tells me fish food. I mean, I was texting you, Eric, right before we started this podcast. I was eating fish food, just because my body needed it. I just was looking to function today, and I know that people think it's too sweet, but I don't know. I don't feel that way because I mean it's dark chocolate. The fudge fish is made out of like dark chocolate, so like that's not too sweet. It's just and with the chocolate ice cream and the marshmallow swirls in the middle, I like the combination of that, which also kind of reminds me of eating s'mores. And I know they give me s'mores in advance, but so this is kind of the next best thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really well balanced in a way that some of the other flavors aren't. Joelle, were you on this one?
I have to break this one down because I love them both. We've talked about this in ad nauseum at this point. But if I break it down, chocolate versus vanilla malt, I'm going to go with chocolate. If I'm going to go fudgy fish versus peanut fudge covered pretzels, I'm reading the descriptions. I go with fudgy fish because it's a little simpler. If I'm comparing peanut butter swirls to gooey marshmallow swirls and caramel swirls, I'm going with marshmallow and caramel. So the answer is fish food because it's on all parts. It's just a little bit better.
Curtis?
The really sad thing is fish food sounds delicious if it weren't a chocolate ice cream. Like I love marshmallow and caramel and fudge. Like those are all delicious. I just wish it were a vanilla ice cream. So I'm going to vote for Chubby Hubby, even though I think it's going down here and it doesn't really even matter. But I still vote for it.
It still matters. Your vote is very important here. I am going to vote for fish food here. I said earlier that I have 2 pints of the Tonight dough in my freezer. And that is because when I put in my Instacart order yesterday, because I live in New York and I'm not going shopping during the pandemic, I wanted 1 of the Tonight dough and 1 of fish food because I honestly thought that's where this was going to come down, was those 2 flavors. And I wanted to be able to do a like side-by-side taste test. So I really felt that I knew which one should win. I have not been able to get fish food the entire pandemic. It has been sold out every time I go to order it. Every time. And I think that speaks to how popular it is. Chubby Hubby, I do not think I'm going to have that problem with. And there are many other bullshit flavors that I'm able to get access to ad nauseum. I cannot get fish food. Ever. So for me, that's why I'm advancing it. With a final 2 of chocolate chip cookie dough versus fish food, I'm going to start with Jake. Where are you coming down?
I like both, but I have to go with fish food, just because I love the band so much. Just kidding. I have no idea. I mean, I know
you're just a sample in a jar, my friend.
Exactly. I feel like I know who they are. I just couldn't name a song by them. So just, yeah.
Fish doesn't really have songs per se. It's like 25-minute long.
They have tracks.
Journeys.
It's not songs.
Yeah.
Fish
tracks.
is more of a feeling.
I just really like fish, just like the seafood, not the band. Anyways, no, but unlike Curtis, I was not traumatized as a kid with chocolate, so chocolate ice cream, I am all about it. Plus the gooey marshmallow swirls. Y'all already know how I like my s'mores, so the combination of that is really well balanced. Plus the caramel, and it's also really cute with the little fudge fishes, or the fudge fish that are just scattered throughout the the pint. And yeah, it's always available. And I'm sorry, Eric, that you haven't been able to get it, but again, I think that speaks to the popularity of it and how much people love this flavor. And I think it's definitely, it might not be the best-selling flavor like chocolate chip cookie dough, but I think it speaks more to Ben & Jerry's culture. They're more unique. They'll offer flavors that you can't really get in any other brands, and they'll try different things, and if they don't work out, they'll stop making them and send them to the ice cream graveyard. So I think that although it might not be the most popular flavor, it is quintessential Ben & Jerry's and really encapsulates this iconic ice cream brand. So for the flavor and for the importance of that, that's why I got to go with it.
I think that's actually a really good argument that it speaks to that culture, which is they've been involved with jam bands from the beginning. They do these celebrity type of partnerships. They've been doing them for decades. It is very much part of that spirit that Ben & Jerry actually created. It's very Vermont, right? And even though it's now this huge global brand, it is still this little ice cream shop in Vermont that's like, cool, dude, let's put on some tie-dye shirts and have cool cow logos. Like that is who they are, which I find very charming. Joelle, what about you?
Yeah, no, that one's this is tough, but I'm definitely leaning to fish food. It's just it's a classic for me. It is. You're right. It's very Vermont. It reminds me not only before I even had the ice cream. Fish was like the band that all of the counselors at the camp I went to were obsessed with because I was a thing at camp. Every camp counselor loved jam bands. How did that happen? I don't know.
Marijuana.
Yeah,
that's how that happened.
Here it is.
No, that's that. You're right, absolutely right. As a result of their obsession with fish, I had a 7-year obsession with Dave Matthews Band that shall not be talked about.
It's okay. We're all in recovery.
It is what it is. Anyway, the answer is fish food. I'm so sorry you haven't been able to get it, Eric. I will say that I tried to order Chubby Hubby several times and kept getting Chunky Monkey, and that was devastating.
Yeah, seriously. You just threw that out the window. And said, fuck this.
I literally brought it to my friend's house where her 2 kids love banana everything. So it worked out great.
I was going to say, was it a friend you don't actually like? Was it a total frenemy thing? Like,
love them to
hi,
pieces.
Bethany. Here you go.
I asked repeatedly, are you sure you want this? And you're not just being nice. This is some mean thing I'm doing? And they said they wanted it.
Well, God bless them. Curtis, where are you? It's true. Curtis, where are you on
I mean, I don't think you have to ask. Like, there's only one of these that I would eat if given them, and that's chocolate chip cookie dough. I love chocolate chip cookie dough, ice cream. without the ice cream. Like it's just one of the most delicious things out there. And I love the simplicity of it. You can call me vanilla if you want. What was it? The salted caramel may be out of the bracket, but I will carry on with the salted caramel Sandra. I don't know what you said, Eric. I just ruined that.
I said that you would keep bringing the saltiness.
Which I do to every podcast, whether we're talking about ice cream or not.
Yes.
One of the things
we
that we haven't really gotten to talk about too much, but I really want to give a quick pitch. I am not being paid by Ben & Jerry's, but I really appreciate the social mission.
Yeah.
They have 3 different missions. I'm looking at their website. They have an economic, social, and product mission. And Ben & Jerry's has gone to bat for, they went to bat for the gay community. They created a flavor that I think kind of flopped. It was called Social Justice Remix or something along those lines. I haven't seen it recently. I don't think it was very good.
Oh,
but
that's the one with the Mexican hot chocolate flavoring inside. Is that the one?
Is it?
That was awful.
Yeah, I remember it being cinnamon. Like there was a cinnamon flavor, which Mexican chocolate has like a cinnamon.
Yeah,
taste
it was
to
spicy. I couldn't eat it because I'm a weakling. But yeah,
I didn't care for the taste at all. But I love that they went out there and they did that. And I will give all of my money to any organization that is willing to put their name on something and really stand for their beliefs that I also believe in. So whether my ice cream wins or loses, it doesn't matter because I love Ben & Jerry's as a company.
Absolutely. And I was just reading that they were one of the first big companies to take a stand against Facebook and Instagram, being like, we're not advertising anymore until you actually take ownership of the fact that you are spreading misinformation, you are encouraging racism, and we will not be using your platforms anymore so long as you do not actually get this taken care of. And I think they've always been that company. They've always been very bold, very progressive. And that's Vermont, right? And I think they're Vermont through and through, and the best parts of Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
To me, this is such an interesting final too, because on the one hand, you have cookie dough, which is emblematic of this company kind of becoming a thing. Like it was these interesting flavors that people hadn't necessarily had before, back when ice cream was really pretty basic. Like Ben & Jerry's, by the way, and I are the exact same age. We were both founded in 1978. And so I remember being a kid when ice cream was real basic in the grocery store freezers. I mean, we're talking, you did not have a wide variety of flavors. Most of it was pretty garbage quality. Ben & Jerry's changed the game. It really did. And a big part of that was stuff like Heath Bar Crunch and chocolate chip cookie dough and things that you were not seeing anyplace else doing. But if we're talking about flavors that are interesting to me and are also emblematic, as Jake pointed out, of the way that the company has kind of flourished and grown into this global brand, that is the fish food side of it. It's taking that already adventurous spirit that led to those initial kind of out of the box flavors, and it's goosing it with even more stuff. So it's a whole fantasy as an ice cream, and it's connecting it to a band that they're really passionate about, and it has a social component to the actual flavor where it supports conservation efforts. That's kind of hard to ignore, even though it is not like one of the core flavors of Ben & Jerry's. It kind of is at this point. Like it is. It's been around for 20 plus years, I think, right?
24. Yeah.
Yes,
which
1997.
Yeah, I mean, that's half of its lifespan right there. So I think I'm going to go with fish food here because ultimately, at the end of the day, you can make strong cases for the historical importance and cultural importance for both flavors. But which one would I rather eat if both of them are sitting in front of me? I'm going to go to the fish food. I am. So that is 3-1 fish food over chocolate chip cookie dough. And you have it, folks. That's our pick for the best Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor, fish food. Do you agree? Do you think our good taste has melted away? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. I want to say thank you to my panel. You always churn my batter. And thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content, episodes arrive a whole day early, and you get some sweet GPCD swag. Have a good one, and remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. Now let's all get a Vermonter.